All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here with us. This is our first SATO livecast. My name is Romain Nouzaret. I am the CEO and co-founder of CCU.ai. Before I start, the regular disclaimer, what we are going to discuss today, as you know, is a forward-looking information. The Bitcoin and crypto in general is a very volatile market, so there is no need for you to be reminded that everything can change very quickly, so it needs to be taken into some kind of consideration regarding the future projections that we will have for our company. Today, we will mainly speak and talk about our company, our history, our vision and mission. We will take also a few questions and answers from the audience. And at the end, we will talk about a new product we are very excited for. It's about the Lightning Network. And it's a way to give Bitcoin rewards. So you will be able to participate at the end of the livecast. Before I start, I wanted to introduce Fred Pai. He's one of our board members and is also the founder and CEO of 3iQ, the first ETF listed in the Canadian stock market for Bitcoin, and today the Canada's largest digital asset manager. As he's traveling, I'm going to share a video from him, and then we can go back to the presentation right after.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Fred Pai. I'm President, CEO, or Chairman and CEO of 3iQ Corp. We've been making waves in the digital asset space for the last couple of years, specifically living off our epic win in being allowed to be the first Bitcoin fund ever launched in the world. That had then given us the time to take a look at many other things that we're doing and the exciting things at 3iQ. But one of the exciting things that I've branched out personally into is working with another group of companies that are involved in the entire complex. I always suggested from day one that when 3iQ, for Canada to excel in the blockchain space and in the infrastructure space, is we had to have an asset manager in the billions of dollars. So now we've got that. And now what we're trying to do is be introduced to other major players in this industry and work with them to make this industry better. And I must say that I was ecstatic to be introduced to CCU through our CGT and Louis Roy, who worked with us in our challenges with the Ontario Securities Commission. And he suggested that he had found this nice small company in Joliet, Quebec, who I'm very familiar with, that was doing sustainable Bitcoin mining. We all know that the sustainability of the Bitcoin industry is a big question worldwide. I must answer questions 3 times a day on how do we get better, how do we get bigger, how do we become more sustainable. Well, we think Canada can lead in sustainability of the Bitcoin mining industry, and this is my way of getting my part into it. And it would also be extraordinary if we were able to try and figure out how to make the Bitcoin that we invest in always sustainable. Sustainability is a very important part of who I am and what we do and what we're looking for. We're at 3iQ. I was originally introduced to Romain and the rest of the team at CCU, and there was no shortage of exciting projects and things that they were interested in doing. And I met with Romain just recently in Dubai, and he explained to me some of their newer initiatives, and you're going to hear a lot about those today. So I just want to thank everybody for joining on today, learn a bit more about CCU. There's, as we said, we're all making waves in the blockchain industry here in Canada. And I think Romain and the people at the team at CCU are first-class leaders. So I hope you have a great afternoon at the conference.
Thank you very much, Fred. It was a pleasure, and it is a pleasure to have you as a board member, as you know. And we are totally in sync with you with the vision of making wave with a crypto Canadian company. So we are going to make sure that we are one of the leaders of this company. And that makes me go to my first slide, which is to explain our long-term vision. I know that every entrepreneur in the world will tell you they have a long-term vision, but in our industry, we have a 140 years vision. Why? Because it is the time it will take until the last Bitcoin will be mined. There are only 3 million Bitcoin to be found, and we want to be as big as possible and as professional as possible to make sure that we can extract the most of the Bitcoin remaining to be found. In order to do that, it means that we will need to expand globally in order to increase our mining power and be able to cap more transaction revenues while always using renewable energy. The main goal for the company is to hodl our crypto assets. We want to follow the steps of other companies, other miners who are also listed on the stock market, who are holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We want to follow that step too without selling the Bitcoins that we find. Having crypto on our balance sheet is part of our strategy, and we will increase that in the coming months and years as we have already started. At the same time that we want to become one of the biggest blockchain company with mining at its core, we also want to promote the use of Bitcoin and specifically the Lightning Network, because we see that as a way for more people to be exposed to Bitcoin and crypto in general. Though we will tell you and explain how we will work toward that direction. Of course, having a long-term vision and big ambitions is not enough. We need to focus on a very short-term mission. And the first mission that we have to do is to develop our Center 1. The Center 1 is located in Joliet in Quebec. It's an amazing city north of Montreal. It's about like 45 minutes, an hour north of Montreal. The people over there are extremely nice and super performant because we have employees over there. And in 2018, we signed a contract for 20 megawatts of energy. The energy in Quebec is one of the best in the world. It's an energy that is available in excess. It is 100% renewable, which is an important part for the industry to make sure that we are not using energy that is producing carbon emission. And it's extremely competitively priced. The price for the power is around like 2.8 cents a kilowatt hour, and full in, we are reaching around 4 cents a kilowatt hour, which is one of the best price in the world. So we want to continue developing, working on this contract. When we reach full capacity of this contract, we will reach 600 petahash of mining power. Currently, we are running 7.5 megawatts of this power, meaning that we have a mining power of 160 petahash. And we are building the 12.5 remaining to be built in 2022 or earlier. The timeline from getting there and getting to this contract and getting to the mining power that we run today. We started in 2017 with my brother Matthew, who is here. We co-founded the company because we are passionate by technology. We are entrepreneurs for the past 25 years, creating different kind of companies, selling companies. And of course, blockchain was one of the subjects that we loved. So we decided to start mining in 2017. And in 2018, we signed this energy contract of 20 megawatts. And then between end of 2018, 2019, we had to maneuver, the crypto winter and the COVID. But as entrepreneur, long-term entrepreneur with Matthew and I, we knew how to manage this kind of difficult situation. So we managed to continue growing the company, adding more petahash, adding new miners, adding new electricity slots. Meaning that at the end of 2020, we had 7.5 megawatts ready of energy. And this is where we decided to go to the next level. The next level for us was to get access to the public market. So we decided to follow the path of getting listed on the stock market. And it made sense, as you could imagine, as a Canadian company, that the Toronto stock market was the market of choice for us. So we started this in the beginning of 2021. And we were listed in the month of September under the ticker SATO, obviously a reference to Satoshi Nakamoto, a big star and a big reference for us. And very quickly during that, or after being listed, we increased our mining power to 160 petahash. And now we are on way to reach the 600 petahash of mining power. Obviously, in this timeline, we are not showing what's coming after. We are not going to stop here. We are a small miner today, but we have extremely big ambitions, and we will continue increasing not only our electrical contract, but our mining power so that we can create more Bitcoin and more Ethereum in the coming months and years to come. In order to also talk about like our vision and what we will do in the next 10 years, because it's good to have a very long-term vision, it's good to have a short-term mission, but in the next 10 years, what are we going to be focusing on? If you see on the left side of on my screen, our core business is to do crypto mining. We will continue focusing in that part in order to add more capacity very, very quickly. The first one that I already discussed in the center one in Joliet, it's almost behind us. I mean, everything is done for this center. We have the space, we have the team, we have the knowledge, we have the electrical equipment. Everything is ready for this center. So now we are also focusing on how can we add more centers in our operation. We believe that those centers will be on-grid or off-grid. Meaning that we can deal with like energy providers or find any source of energy in order to do mining. We are also investigating everything related to HPC, high power computer. And also we are looking at doing acquisition of other miners, which will be a way for us to grow quicker. In that core business of mining, we are always going to do it with one thing in mind, is to keep and respect an ESG vision. It is very important for us to have that in mind. The Bitcoin Mining Council that was created by Michael Saylor, that regroups around like 40 of the biggest miners in the world, which we are part, and we were funding a miner joining the BMC, has shown that crypto mining and Bitcoin mining is a negligible amount of energy if you compare to the energy used in the world. In fact, it's less than 0.1%. But even so, we believe it's important to do it in respect of the environment. So we are going to continue developing our centers using renewable or sustainable energy. At the same time, we believe that it is interesting for us to diversify and to go get new revenue streams from developing services on the blockchain. The first thing that we are working on is the thing that is in the middle here on my graph, called the Fleet Software V2. What is it? In our business, in Bitcoin mining, it's all about being performant. You can be performant on how you manage your electricity, on how you manage your heat, on how you manage your ventilation. And that's what we have done in our center. We have built the top-notch facility. But one way to be even more performant is to be able to apply a management software in order to monitor your miners with data. Matthew and I, as technology entrepreneur, we know that managing and understanding data is key when you want to run a business. So what we did was to, very early on, we actually started in 2019, we decided to connect all of the miners to via API and get data every 10 minutes. And we are using this data in order to be able to work on the miners as quickly as possible when there is something needed to be done. Because of that, during the time of COVID, during the time of the crypto winter, we were able to manage the mining facility very quickly and easily with a low level of people. We now want to go to V2 of this solution, and this the V2 is about to add AI and or mathematical models so that we are going to be able to be even more performant in managing our miners from a data standpoint. The other thing that we are going to do is to launch and try to see if we can find a new product market on the blockchain. And we are going to announce this new product I was telling you about at the beginning. It's on the Lightning Network. It's a way for people to get more Bitcoin and get Bitcoin rewards. So we will tell you at the end how to use it. And on this part, the goal is, of course, to have more people using Bitcoin because we believe that the success is not only our success, but it's the success of everyone using crypto and Bitcoin in general. Again, the goal of the company, increase digital assets in our balance sheet. We want to follow the steps of MicroStrategy from Michael Saylor or Tesla, SpaceX. Now, have you seen, you have probably saw some banks in the US might start to hold Bitcoin. We are seeing insurance company holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet the same way they have real estate, bonds, or gold. So we want to be part of this revolution, and we want to grow as big as we can. How do we do that? With a team. At the end, it's always a team who wins. And in order to reach our goals, we have assembled top-notch team, and we are not going to stop there. So we are going to have more and more people joining us. But as you can see, Matthew and I, we are long-term tech entrepreneur. We've seen the ups and downs from many companies, and we are going to continue managing this. Kyle is our CFO. He used to be the CFO of Audited when Audited started to get listed on the TSX.V, which is perfect for us. Fanny has been joining us and working with us for more than 2 or 3 years when she was our CPA for a firm, and she joined us full-time almost a year ago. Both Kyle and Fanny will speak after me. You can also see on this chart, Yvan Guibault is our partner in Joliette. He's an industrialist in Quebec from a long time. He's an exceptional entrepreneur who has created lots of companies. Jean-Sébastien Raymond is our operation on the site. He's our employee number 1. Damian is working with me for a long time on the tech side, more than 5 years. We have Simon who just joined us. He's a quant from just got a diploma from the Sorbonne in Paris, one of the best universities. Lydia and more are coming joining our team. We also decided to get an extremely talented board members. So we have Frank Di Tommaso, he's a CPA, used to be a partner for Grant Thornton. He's part of many boards of listed companies. He has experience with the TSX, with NASDAQ. So he's a great addition to the company. Yvan is also an entrepreneur in Quebec. Fred Pye, I don't have to tell you who it is because you just saw him a few minutes ago. And finally, Dominique Payette, she works at Banque Nationale. She's a lawyer. She's very knowledgeable around like everything related to AI and the legal aspect of it. So with this team and with more people coming in, this is how we will get to the next level of the company. So now, if you want, I'm going to give the floor to Kyle Appelby, who will talk to you about our first financials. Kyle?
Thanks, Romain. As mentioned, I'm going to just talk about a few slides of the financial aspects of the company. In terms of our share structure, we have just under 67 million shares outstanding and 4.7 million warrants and stock options to give us a fully diluted of 71.5 million shares outstanding. And this would include recently exercised warrants, about 3 million warrants that were brought in $2.3 million into our till. So that's great. And we have no other dilutables on our balance sheet. So if we look at the next slide here, you can see some of our financial highlights. Our revenue grew from 632,000 in 2018 to for the first half of 2021, Q1, Q2, we already had 2.2 million. So good revenue growth. Cost of revenue, which includes electricity, salary, and depreciation, giving us a gross profit. You can see our gross profit from a negative gross profit in 2018 to healthy gross profit in up to Q2 in 2021 of 1.3 million, or 59%. Our expenses, that line item would include our corporate and general expenses like legal, audit, and other G&A, and then other charges, which are our foreign exchange gain or loss and some finance expense. And then finally, you can see our net income or loss in 2018, and we have achieved in 2021 through Q2 positive net income of 77,000. And then stay tuned for our Q3 results, which will be out before the end of November. The next slide, you can see that we've been cash flow positive since 2018, where the increase in cash each year remained positive. Cash from operating activities, which was negative in 2018, has grown to positive in up to Q2 in 2021 to 773,000. And cash used in investing activities represents equipment purchases and infrastructure. So as we advance our business plan and have access to more capital, that number you'll see increase as we acquire more miners and build out more sites, hopefully in the future. And then cash from financing activities shows the money that's been raised through shares or debt in the company over the years. And given we closed our QT RTO in Q3, the proceeds from that financing of 4 million and change will be shown in our Q3 financials, which I mentioned will be out before the end of November. So now I'd like to pass it along to our VP of Finance, Fanny, to go through a few more slides.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to look at the cash position. So first on the left, we're going to look at the June 30, 2022. So it's the picture end of Q2. You can see the total cash and digital asset we have. It's in Canadian, 1,300,000. So it's 24% cash and 75% digital assets, which represent 91% Bitcoin and 9% Ethereum. As Romain mentioned earlier, we start to mine some Ethereum beginning of 2021. Now on the right, we see the picture September 30, so end of Q3. So it's an expected number since our financial are not done, but we can say about the cash, they're going to be around 37%, 1,600,000. And the digital asset, 62%, so around 2,800,000. So the total of both, it's 4,004,000. So now we can see a bit of increase in Bitcoin, 96% and 4% Ethereum. The difference between the two dates, it's in Q3, as Carl explained, we receive the proceeds of the QT. And we, as you could see in a press release, we repay our debt, almost all the debt, and we start to build and buy some equipment with the money we receive. So we're going to look on the next slide at the revenue more in detail. So you can see on the left the evolution since 2018. As explained, we start to mine our first Bitcoin beginning of 18. We had an increase in 2019. You can see the halving year in 2020. That explains the reduction. And then you see the 6 months. The 6 months is up to Q2. We add the expecting number for Q3, that the total revenue for self-mining, it's above 3 million. so up to September 30. We can see the hosting, that the hosting increase in Q3. It's mainly because during this quarter, we had some infrastructure ready, and we decided to add some revenue stream for CCU. So we'd have this around 700,000 in addition in hosting. But still, if we can look between 2018 and 2020, we are maintaining our self-mining around 94%. And with the Q3 result, we're going to be around 78% of self-mining. Then on the right, it's just a split between Bitcoin and Ethereum revenue. So as you can see, it started in 2021, and you could see the evolution about this for 3 years, let's say. So next slide. Now we're going to speak about the market overview. So in USD now, since mainly company in the space of mining are in use US currency. So first of all the data is based on the information available, and the market cap is based on yesterday closing market price. So CCU used to track around 15 mining company. Here, for the purpose, we show only 6, probably the most known. So you add the market cap, and what we know now is we have the actual petahash, so that's the mining power, and the future mining powers, so future petahash that they announce. Same, it's based on information available. So if we look at different way to calculate the valuation, we have the most common is to calculate the market cap by petahash. So when we use the actual petahash, on average, you have a 1,500,000 valorization for 1 petahash. And then we did some calculation if we use valorization of the future petahash. So 40%, 60% of the future petahash compared to 100% of actual. So it gives us a range for market cap between 700,000 or $600,000 per petahash. So then if we apply these numbers as a range to CCU market cap, as you saw on the last line, and we use, as Romain explained, that the current petahash running for CCU is 160 petahash, and we plan with the 20 megawatt contract to reach 600 petahash, you will have a valorization of CCU between 247 million to 263 million. So that's a big difference that compared to the market price of today. Other fact is we can see and compare the valuation about compared to the revenue. So if we include the expecting revenue from Q3, today the valorization of CCU is 11 times. But we can see in the market that usually the big one are traded between 30 to 50 times their revenue. So here again, we can see that we are below the market cap that the others. Then some additional highlights. So we're gonna look on the other slide. Today, the Bitcoin price is around 6, maybe a bit less now, so 59,000. And in Q3, average production costs per Bitcoin for CCU, so that include electricity. So to produce 1 Bitcoin, it's 9,000 USD for 1 Bitcoin. We have currently no significant debt, as you might have seen. We reimbursed our loan recently. And again, we are not only mining Bitcoin, but we started mining some Ethereum since beginning of 2021. Romain, it's yours.
Thank you very much, Fanny and Kyle. That was very interesting. So just to sum up before we go to the Q&A and also the new product, as you have seen, we are an emergent company, but we are not new in the market. We started in 2017. We have experience, we have expertise. We are focused on result and being like ultra performant in every aspect of the mining business. And we plan to continue doing this, except that this time, now that we are a listed company, a public company, we are going to be able to go faster and bigger. In our mind, in our day-to-day business, we are always wondering, how can we go faster? How can we go bigger? We want to get to the exahash and in plural, of course, of mining power. So we are only focusing on this. With our team, with our knowledge, with our expertise, and with our history, we believe that we are extremely well positioned for global expansion and to create a leader in the crypto and Bitcoin blockchain company. As Fanny has explained to you, we are currently completely undervaluated. I mean, if you look at the comparables between the revenues, the multiple of the revenues for our valuation and or the number of petahash, we can see that we are really undervaluated, though we believe that the market is going to be good for us in the coming weeks and months. Obviously, one key aspect for us, and Fred started that during his forward, is to be environmentally conscious. So we will continue using renewable, sustainable energy in our growth. So really trust us, expect us. We are here for the long term. We are not cowboys or just here to do a quick hit and run. Getting listed for us is only the beginning of the story, and we are going to show you how big and how far we can go in the coming weeks and years. So now, before we go to the questions and answers, if you want to take your phone, you can scan 3 links here. On the left, you have access to some pictures made by Getty Image and Bloomberg when they came visit our mine. If you want to visit one part of our site, like if you were there, you can use our YouTube. And if you subscribed on our YouTube, we will also publish more videos, and we will put also this webcast and this livecast on our YouTube. And on the right, you can use Vimeo to be able to access our corporate video. I will then give a few minutes to Matthew, my brother and also co-founder of the company. So Matthew, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew, and I'm Romain's brother. Like Romain, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I co-founded and managed 5 companies. 2 went public, 3 were sold. And I'm the director of CCU. First of all, I really do thank everybody today for spending some time with us. I hope you have learned a little bit about our industry and our company. I'm very proud of the progress the company has made over the past 4 years. In 2017, we knew nothing about Bitcoin mining, but we knew that the impact of the cryptocurrency would be massive. We started small, we made progress, we learned, we even survived the crypto winter, and now we're thriving. I also want to thank you, everybody who made this possible. Obviously, CCU employees, investors, partners, not to forget Canada and Quebec for welcoming us. If you're also currently a CCU investor, thank you for supporting us. And I truly believe that CCU has a bright future ahead of us. About 20 years ago, Mark Andreessen, one of the top VC in the Silicon Valley, published an article, a famous article, titled "Why Software is Eating the World," was foreshadowing the internet and digital boom that we are currently witnessing. And now we're convinced that it's the next step in digitization of the world has begun. It's now crypto's turn to eat the world, and CCU will be at the forefront of this revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. We are now going to take a few questions and answers. Caroline, you want to choose the one you want to I'm going to read them at the same time.
Yeah, I think we can cover a couple. The first one, I think that's pretty obvious that I can answer. Yes, we are planning to expand into the US and get a listing there. We're just in the process of listing. So yeah, look out for that announcement in the next few weeks. And so one that keeps popping up here is about the equipment. Romain, could you please get into maybe what type of equipment we are using and whether the software is proprietary and what kind of cooling systems we have, and go ahead.
Sure. So we have designed a center that we call high grade, and high grade means that we want to make sure that our miners can be managed and operated at the right temperature all the time. So basically, if you can keep your miners at around 20 to 25 Celsius, and if you can give them the right amount of voltage at the entrance of the miner on 240 volts, you are making sure that your miners will extract the most Bitcoin, while at the same time making sure that they can live a longer life. So the way we design our center is in three ways. We are taking the cold air from the outside, which is a good thing to be in Quebec, because as you know, in Quebec it's pretty cold most of the time. And we are filtering this air because we want to make sure that the air entering into the miners will be clean. And we are exhausting this air from three ways. One way is that we are extracting it outside. The second way for us to take this hot air is to remix it to our first part of the center, where we mix the temperature, again, to keep a temperature of around 20 to 25 Celsius. And we are also doing an extra step in the environmental aspect, in the sense that we are using part of this heat, mainly in winter, as you can imagine, to send heat to the factory who is hosting us. We are doing this because it's good for the environment, and during winter, the factory can turn off the heating system they used to have. So they are making economies on their bills of energy, and we are using less energy. So building this center, we did it that way because we wanted to make sure that the miners that we are operating can last longer. If you do that, it will be less stress on your infrastructure. Your miners will be able to not break. And it's an important part of being extremely performant on the industry. On the type of software that we developed, so what we did was to connect every miner the API, and we are getting data every 10 minutes. And we are not only getting data from the miners that we operate, but also from the center that is around the miners. So we are getting data about humidity, temperatures, fans. We have lots of fans that you can imagine. And all of this data, we are keeping it into our data system, and we have developed our own administration solution. And we have bots, for example, who will try to find out why your miner is not working. If this miner is not working, it will try to restart it automatically for 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. And if it doesn't work, it will send an email or a message to our team on site. We are also being able to do lots of exports and monitoring. But this was a version 1 of the software. Version 2 is that we want to apply, we say AI, but AI in the industry is often misused. By AI, we mean that we're going to apply mathematical models to understand even better our data and being able to be even more performant and quick at taking decisions on when to turn on and off a miner, when to repair them. This is also why we are adding more people in our team to work on this part.
Okay, and just the end of the question was, are we planning to keep that for ourselves, or is it proprietary, or will we license it to other miners?
So it's open for now. We are doing it for us, that's for sure. Is it going to be a market for us to sell this software? It's possible. We will look into it. It could be a SaaS model that could be interesting for us to develop. It will fall into the software part that I was explaining. Now we need to also understand how big the market is for this kind of software, because I'm sure that every other miner, bigger miner than us, they have their own solutions. I'm not sure they will want to buy a subscription to a software that is not made by them. But maybe on the lower tier, it could be interesting, and it could bring monthly revenues to the company, and monthly revenues that we will, of course, sell in Bitcoin. We will that will be our main way to take revenues. But it's still a question mark. We are going to look at it, but for now, we want to be performant for ourselves.
All right. And just to let everyone know, we'll go through all the questions and respond to everyone after the webinar. But for now, to keep time close, I'll let you close and get to the next.
Great. So the last slide is about this new product that we are going to launch. The name of the application is called Flashboy. It's an application that is available on iOS and Android. And what we wanted to do was to find a way to give Bitcoins to people. So this application is a reward-based Bitcoin solution, and we are using the Lightning Network in order to make it work. Why the Lightning Network? We think it's one of the most fascinating developments of the Bitcoin today, because we could see Bitcoin as a product, meaning a way to do digital property, and the Lightning Network to be a service, which is mainly an open financial network. And as you know, with the Lightning Network, it's ultra scalable. It's fast and almost free. Transactions are almost free on the Lightning Network. It's extremely secure and secured by the fact that we are using miners and Bitcoin miners. For us miners, it's also very much economically viable. Why? Because when you run nodes on the Lightning Network, you can still get a little bit of fees every time a transaction happens on the Lightning Network. So we think that we miners, it makes sense to go and find ways or find solutions to see if we can make new revenue streams for this kind of solution. What is interesting also with the Lightning Network for us is to see what is happening in countries such as San Salvador, where people are using Bitcoin as a circular economy, using the Lightning Network to buy and to receive money in Bitcoin. So we believe it's going to be a trend that is going to be developing more in the future, and we want to be on top of that. In order to promote this new application for iOS and for Android, we also made a piece of content that we called the Bitcoin history. If you want to take your phone again, you can scan the QR code, or you can go online at SATO.CCU.ai. And what we did here was to develop a content piece, an interactive application, if you will, about the history of Bitcoin and why Bitcoin exists and why mining is important. And we did it in a way to be ultra simple for lots of people, but also to be very much in the details, explaining exactly how everything works under the hood. And the reason why we did this piece of content was just to be able to give you, our shareholders, and the public a way to better understand our industry, how we work, and why we think what we do is extremely important for the world, because it's financial freedom. And we miners are the backbone of this new revolution. And we intend to really grow as big and as fast as we can, not only as doing mining as our core business, but also in developing new type of application like Flashboy. And I think this is the end for the presentation. So we are a little bit in advance, but I think that's also good. You can also follow us and follow our ticker on the TSX or TMX. This is also the QR code that you are seeing here. On this, I would like to thank you again, everyone, for being and attending our first SATO LiveCast. It's going to be the first of many more. We are here for the long term. Again, big ambitions, and we will see you very soon. Thank you very much.